Winning my sister's honeymoon, plus updates. Original post. Mom and Dad got divorced when my sisters Sam and I were 13 and 10. That was 12 years ago. My father was a cheater and still is, on to his fourth marriage. Mom met her boyfriend George a year after the divorce, but she kept it a secret and didn't introduce him to us until 2 years later, until she was sure that he was the one. That was the time I have seen my mother the happiest in a relationship. She's always been a happy and bubbly person. Sam hated George with all her might because she loves my father very much, and he was very heartbroken that Mom moved on. He even attempted on his own life. My sister never forgave my mom for it and threatened to cut contact if my mom didn't dump her boyfriend. My mom did. Afterwards, my mom was very depressed and down, but my sister and dad were happy. Then my sister left for college a few months later. I know for a fact that my mom started seeing her boyfriend again a year ago. She's been happy again. My sister got married last weekend. Yesterday, we had a lunch before she and her husband were to leave for their honeymoon. When I arrived, she was a bit down. Apparently, she asked Mom to join us, but Mom declined. So she opened up saying that since Mom dumped her boyfriend, she has been very distant and cold with my sister. Never rude or mean or angry, just cold. If she asked her anything or needed something, Mom would be there for her, like when my sister had severe COVID. But other than that, she never contacted my sister on her own volition. My sister was telling me that maybe Mom never will be happy again because of her ending her relationship. I told her not to worry about it because they're still seeing each other behind our backs, and that Mom seemed very happy. My sister was shocked, and she started yelling in the middle of the restaurant and started trying to call Mom to ask her. Then she called me an a-hole for never telling her before now. I just never thought it was a secret that I was hiding. Just a private matter. And I thought my sister knew too. Because how couldn't she realize that Mom has been happy again and have been going for weekend getaways? My sister is now demanding that Mom break up with her boyfriend or she would go no contact. And I feel like the a-hole for everything, including miscalculating that my sister still has the same stand. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. Your sister is overreacting. Not everything is about her. You didn't ruin her honeymoon. I feel like it is my mistake to start this again. My mom told my sister that she is an adult now and free to go no contact. Now my sister thinks my mom and I are a-holes. You cannot govern your life worrying about how your sister is going to react. You spoke the facts. You had no intention of malice. Sis ought to be able to handle this information without making a scene. Info. What did her partner think? I don't know. I haven't spoken to any of them since. Annie wasn't at the lunch. You're the a-hole for telling your sister that your mom is dating, instead of calling her out on her crappy hypocritical behavior deeply hurting your mom. It's okay for dad to go through 4 marriages, but mom has to stay single the rest of her life? Your sister doesn't love her mother much, does she? I'd be pretty distant and cold to the daughter who's okay with a cheating father, but not okay with mom moving on. Your mom should cut contact with your selfish sister. But nah, you aren't the a-hole for upsetting your sister. She should feel guilty for hurting your mom so deeply. Thank you for your comment. I agree with everything. This, not the a-hole. Your sister is a manipulative narc in her attempt to weaponize going no contact to force your mom to split with someone who makes her happy. Don't you dare let her try to ruin your mom's life. Lesson learned. Don't share anything about your mom to her again. Now for the first update. So my mom and George are getting married and none of us is invited. Just some of their closest friends and George's children and their parents. They're getting married in September and moving to another city. She sent my sister a letter telling her that this time she was the one who is asking for no contact. That she has done her job now and raised 2 well-adjusted and happy daughters. And she believes her duties have been fulfilled. Now we are adults, my mom wants space and peace now, and she will not be dragged into more drama. That she wishes my sister to stop being like her father, believing all people are her property and puppets. And after that, she can take the same amount of time to reflect. Then they could maybe reconsider their relationship. So if it takes you 5 years to be a decent human, then take another 5 years to make sure and reflect. Then maybe we can consider reconnecting. Until then, I wish you the best life, but I don't want to be a part of it. She didn't write any letter to me and told me that we could always keep in touch. We talk 5 to 7 times a week, and I am welcome to visit and stay with her and her husband anytime I wanted. Not sure how to feel. My sister is the one who hurt her, and yet she only decided to move on once she made sure my sister was happily married. But what about me? I think your mom has sacrificed enough for you and especially your sister. She deserves happiness. She's not going low contact with you. She shouldn't have to wait for you to get married for anything. It sounds like both you and your sister, but especially your sister, are so used to your mom sacrificing herself for the two of you that you just expect. How about instead of expecting that, you support your mom for a change? Call her, tell her you love her and support her and want her to be happy. Ask if you can be there to support her when she gets married. Tell her that you want to be there for her and with her on her special day. OP, do this. You sound redeemable. Not your sister who seems to be a retread of your father. You clearly need to think hard about your relationship with your mother, and it's clear that she doesn't trust you with her relationship with George. For good reason. Your mother seems like the person you need to try to invest in. If you work hard and keep your mouth shut, she may let you in. The last sentence is key. Keep your mouth shut. Do not pass on any info about your mom at wedding to sister if you get it. It will be a betrayal to your mom. Show your mom you can be trusted and you are on her side. Good on your mom for doing what was right for her and being firm in her boundaries. What a terrible toxic situation. An emotionally manipulative serial cheater of an ex-husband. Daughter that gave her an ultimatum to cut out a new partner that made her happy. The same daughter that after all this time still won't allow her mother to be happy with someone new while your father is on his fourth marriage. Unbelievable. Talk about double standards. Her reaction sounded pretty over the top as it was. I think it makes sense your mom cut her out now that she's married. And it sounds like she wants her relationship with you. Nothing's changed on that front. I don't know if I understand your last question. What did you mean by what about you? She isn't waiting for you to get married, nor does it sound like she plans on going no contact. My sister is now demanding that my mother leave her estate to us because it was my dad's money anyway, and trying to contact lawyers about that. I honestly don't blame my mom, and I don't want anything to do with her or my dad. My dad is raging too, saying how he loved mom and she never forgiven him. And honestly, he says that she is cheating on him even now, and acting all heartbroken. Your sister and father are delusional. Cheating on him? That's rich. It's her money regardless of what your sister thinks. I would join your mother in going no contact with them. If you talk to mom 5 to 7 times a week, can you not ask her why she's similarly excluding you? Did you copy any of your sister's behavior? You also need to apologize for using her personal life as gossip for the family, or as a tool to get your sister agitated. No, I did not, but I kept away from both sister and father and didn't have an opinion. I am already low contact with both my father and sister, almost no contact with my father since he cheated. Last update. We have talked and she honestly was scared to invite me and not my sister, because she didn't want to hurt my sister or make her feel she favored me. So I got very upset and told her that I have always paid for my sister's mistakes. She is the problem, but I am treated equally to her not to offend her, when I have always loved and supported her. I knew she was seeing her future husband and was happy for her. She started crying and she apologized. So now I am invited to her wedding. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my brother $200,000 from our parents' inheritance after he got scammed? I, 34 male, recently inherited $400,000 from our parents' estate after they passed away. There was a slight delay in my part in receiving the said amount because of some legal complications. My younger brother, 31 male, received the same amount, but just months after their death. And he was swindled out of nearly all his life savings by a shady investment scheme. Now he's asking me to share $200,000 of my inheritance with him to help him get back on his feet. He argues that our parents would have wanted us to have equal financial standing, and that losing his money wasn't his fault. Yeah, right. And that he'd pay me back all later. I feel terrible for him, but I don't think it's fair to give up half of my inheritance for a mistake he made, no matter how unfortunate. I've been working hard, budgeting, and planning to use this money for my family's future. If I give him half, it puts my own financial security at risk. My wife supports my decision, but some relatives think I'm being greedy and heartless, saying family comes first. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. Your parents did put you in equal financial standing. Exactly, the bro messed it up. He's gotta sleep in the bed he made. Bro doesn't get extra bonus points for stupidity in life. It's best he learns that now. Stupidity can't be fixed. It's forever. He'd probably do the same thing all over again. Every action has consequences. He's reaping the consequences of his actions. Sucks to be him, not the a-hole. If he had taken his $400 and immediately doubled it in his investment scheme, would he have given you $200 so that you would both have even financial standing like your parents would have wanted? Your parents did provide you with equal financial standards. What they apparently fell short on is in providing you with equal intellectual standing. Your brother is an idiot first for blowing $400,000, and second, thinking it should be your problem. Probably also third for thinking that he's going to take the $200,000 and somehow be able to turn it back into $400,000 so he can pay you back. Not the a-hole. Tell the relatives who called you greedy and heartless that you let your brother know that they'll be giving him money to get back on his feet. Not the a-hole. His bad decisions, his problem. I just did that. Thank you so much for the idea. Now for the first update. Wow, this blew up. I didn't think I need online strangers to knock sense into me. Also, it's funny how quickly someone can go from calling every hour to a direct block. I called my brother and asked him what exactly happened, and told him I'd only give him the money if he told me the truth, and only the truth. He told me he invested in a company called Aramco, obviously not the real one, to a sheik, and paid his deposit of $10,000 the first time, where he got back $20,000. Then he began scaling up and always got doubled until $100K. He got back $110K, then was emboldened and invested $300K and was guaranteed $600K, and the rest is history. He made a police report but had no evidence to share, as he withdrew in cash and dealt in cash itself, taking only token receipts which were fake. He kept the previously gotten amount in cash in his house. I only came to know how stupid someone can get. I told him his lack of basic common sense and greed does not constitute grounds for charity on my part, and told him to take better care of the remaining $100K. He cussed me out and told me I disappointed my parents. As for my relatives, I told them all in a group chat that I'd only match whatever they would pay to my brother, and even offered to double it, since I was so greedy and wanted to prove them wrong. Thanks to a legendary commenter who suggested that. I love you. I was cussed out there too. Lol. They're all blocked now. They told me the money got into my head. Sorry for not replying to the comments. I was really weakening in my resolve not to pay him, and you guys just napped me back. Thank you. You all saved me. Not the a-hole. I was already on the side of not the a-hole before the edit. But geez, he's just trying to scam you. He wants $200K when he already has $100K plus left in the bank? If you sent the money, you would have $200K and you would have $300K plus. How is that equal financial standing? What an a-hole. I was very close to helping him out and being an a-hole to myself. Thanks to the sub. Second update. He called again. So after blocking my brother and pesky relatives and thinking the drama was over, he found another way to get to me. He called through my wife. Turns out, things are even worse than he originally told me. That $100,000 he had left is all going toward paying off loans and a car he financed, so he's basically left with nothing. He finally admitted how desperate he is, apologized for not being fully honest earlier and being a douche and cussing me out. He said he realizes he messed up big time. Greed got the better of him, and I was asking for $50,000 instead of the $200,000, promising to pay me back eventually. He even said he'd appreciate whatever help I could offer if I couldn't give the full amount. Yes, I asked him about the previous increments he received. Turns out he actually invested $350,000. The desperation in his voice was palpable. But honestly, I'm done with him. He wasn't always this reckless or stupid. Maybe I was wrong, but the guy I'm dealing with now is a complete mess. Thanks to you all who made me see that. His greed and lack of financial knowledge are his own doing, and I'm not about to bail him out. Lastly, thank you to all of you who took time to help me realize the massive blunder I was about to commit. You guys saved my finances, and quite possibly my life. I'm grateful to all of you. Last story. Am I the a-hole for asking someone to stop coming to my house uninvited? My wife gave her brother a key to our house. I routinely go to my house on my lunch break, and many times have found my brother-in-law at my house uninvited. No one else is home, but he comes to my house and eats my food for lunch. A couple weeks ago, I had a 14-hour day at work, a Thursday, and I had to be in the field for a construction project. On Friday, I was struggling at the office and decided to call it today, so I could go home and rest. When I arrived at home, there was my brother-in-law. I was exhausted and really not in the mood for a guest. Later that day, I texted and told him that I wasn't comfortable with his unannounced visits and asked him not to do it anymore. I told him he was welcome at my house, but I wanted to know when he would be there and that I need boundaries. He seemed cordial with his text response, but I have caused a civil war. My wife is mad at me and so is her other sibling and parents. They said that I'm weird and don't understand how siblings work. In my opinion, it is weird and rude to act like one has carte blanche to someone else's house and food. Am I the a-hole? Is your wife's family from another culture or possibly planet? They sound very different. I would go crazy if I found a family member of mine in my house without being invited, especially if they were eating my food. That key needs to be revoked or change the locks if wifey refuses. Not the a-hole. Yes, she is Mexican-American. Her brother is the only boy and as such, has entitlements within the family. Maybe his family, but definitely should not be yours. Her normal meter is broken. That is not normal. Yes, I agree. I have felt like I am crazy from all the pushback from my wife and her family. Nope, she is wrong. That is not normal at all. He can go hang at his mom's house and eat her food. It's time to pull out the machismo card and tell your wife that you married her and not her brother. But that can change if she refuses to support your boundaries. If someone was coming into my house when I wasn't home, they would 100% lose their key privileges. Absolutely no way would I tolerate that. The first time I came home and found it let himself in without asking, I'd have gone ballistic and taken the key off him. Agree, a key isn't an open invitation to use the house as your own. It's a sign they trust you if you were to ever need it. Yes, my family all have our house's key the same. My dad is a locksmith and set it up the way so that any of us could help each other in an emergency. But none of us, parents or siblings, even adult nieces and nephews now, have ever violated that by going into another's home without asking or being asked to. Correct. If you are entering my home uninvited and unannounced, eating my food and laying around like you live there, then you are paying me rent, utilities, and grocery money. My wife can move back home or in with her sibling if they cannot understand.